del ciudadano Nicolás Maduro Moros, presidente constitucional de la República Bolivariana de Venezuela.
Diputados y diputadas,
Deputies
de este cuerpo legislativo del país,
from this legislative body of the country,
Dr. Elvis Huidrobo Amoroso,
Dr. Elvis
presidente
Amoroso,
del Poder
President
Electoral,
of the National Electoral Council,
quinto poder de la República,
the fifth power of the Republic,
doctora Beatriz Rodríguez,
Dr. Beatriz
presidenta del
Rodriguez,
Tribunal Supremo de Justicia,
President of the Supreme
Poder
Court of
Judicial,
Justice,
Dr. William Saad Jalabi,
Dr. William Saab,
fiscal general de la República,
Attorney General of the
presidente
Republic,
del Poder Ciudadano,
President of the People's Power,
compañera y doctora Delcy Rodríguez,
Dr. Delcy
vicepresidenta
Rodriguez, Vice President,
de la
Executive
República
Vice President of the
Bolivariana
Bolivarian
de
Republic of
vicepresidentes del
Venezuela,
gobierno, ministros, ministras,
ministers,
gobernadores, gobernadoras,
governors,
alcaldes, alcaldesas,
mayors,
líderes empresariales,
business leaders,
líderes comunicacionales,
communication leaders,
líderes religiosos,
religious leaders,
líderes de la cultura,
leaders of culture,
del arte,
of art,
de la ciencia,
of science,
líderes sindicales, líderes
union
sociales,
leaders, social leaders,
presente,
all present,
Estado Mayor Superior de nuestra
the joint
heroica,
staff
firme y gloriosa
of our
Fuerza
heroic force
Armada
of our
Nacional
Bolivarian National Armed Forces,
Poder militar del país.
the military power of our country.
Hoy es 3 de abril.
Today is April the 3rd.
Estaba recordando con Cilia,
I was remembering with Celia,
doctora Cilia
Dr. Celia
Flores de Maduro,
Flores de Maduro.
diputada. Veníamos hablando con la diputada Cilia
We were talking with Deputy Celia
que 3 de abril precisamente,
that precisely on April 3rd,
4 meses,
4 months,
que un día como hoy
a day like today,
Venezuela vivió
Venezuela
un
experienced
momento estelar,
a spectacular
un
moment,
histórico,
a historic moment.
por primera vez
For the first time
desde que Venezuela fue
since Venezuela was a victim
del despojo de su Guayana-Esequiba por primera
of
vez,
being taken this territory away,
constitucionalmente para
the
que
people
el
was
pueblo
convened through
decidiera
constitutional
el
means
destino y
so
el
that the
futuro
people would
de
decide
los
the
derechos de
destiny
Venezuela
and
sobre
future
la Guayana
of the
Esequiba.
rights of Venezuela over
3 de
Guayana-Esequiba.
diciembre
On December 3rd, 2023,
pasarán los años,
years will come,
pasarán las décadas,
decades
y
will
las
pass,
generaciones futuras
and future generations will remember
a quienes
with
nos
pride
atrevimos a
those who
convocar la
dare
opinión
to
del pueblo
convene to the
para que se expresara
opinion of the
con
people
toda su
so that they could
soberanía,
express with
con
all their
toda su
sovereignty, with
magnificencia,
all the
con
efficiency,
todo su poder.
with all its power.
Y exactamente un 3 de abril,
And it's exactly on April 3rd,
luego de haber cumplido
after fulfilling
con lo que manda la Constitución y la ley,
with what the Constitution stipulates and the law,
la Asamblea Nacional recibió
the National Assembly received
inmediatamente
immediately
esa semana de diciembre.
on that week of December.
Yo le entregué a través de la
I
vicepresidenta
delivered
ejecutiva
through the Executive Vice President a bill
para convertir en ley de la República
to turn into a law of the
y además
Republic
con carácter orgánico
and with an organic character
la decisión soberana del pueblo
the sovereign
de las cinco
decision
preguntas
of the people on the 5
que
questions
recordamos sobre los derechos históricos
over the
de un
historical
pueblo
rights
pacífico,
of a peaceful
patriota y
people
guerrero, como el pueblo de Venezuela sobre nuestra
as the Venezuelan
Guayana-Esequiba.
people over the Guayana-Esequiba,
Indiscutiblemente venezolana.
which is without question belongs to Venezuela.
Y la Asamblea Nacional hizo lo que
And the National Assembly did what it had to do.
abrió el debate público,
It made an open public debate,
multiplicó por decenas
multiplied by the dozens,
asambleas, las
the
jornadas de
assemblies,
debate, de
and the
consulta
days of
permanente.
consultations and debates.
Y consultó a la academia,
They consulted the academy,
rectores y rectoras de las
reading
universidades
to all
públicas
deans and
del país
headmasters
presente
of
y de
universities
todas las
of the
universidades
country.
en general. Se convocó a la academia, se convocó a los estudiosos,
We
expertos,
call on
para lograr
specialists
unir
and experts
el criterio de la soberanía popular
to bring together the criteria of the sovereignty
que atesora
and the knowledge of the
academia,
scientific
nuestras universidades
know-how that treasures our academies and universities
y
and our
expertas en
experts
Venezuela sobre la materia hay, que
in
son
Venezuela
y son
over this
bastantes.
subject.
Así que todo ese proceso se cumplió.
So all that process was fulfilled.
Y en medio de ese proceso,
Amidst that process,
nosotros de manera temprana,
we,
en el mismo
very
mes de
early,
diciembre,
in that same month of December,
apenas a
barely
12 días,
12 days,
12 días, ¿no? 11 días,
no, 11
que el
days,
pueblo se manifestara de manera
that people
magnífica
expressed in a
en el
magnificent
referéndum
way
consultivo,
during that consultative
logramos
referendum,
sentar
we were able
cara
to
a cara,
sit face to
al
face
presidente de Guyana, que se negaba a dialogar con
with the
Venezuela,
president of Guyana, which he did not want to talk with Venezuela.
testigos de primer nivel.
And we sat face to face with
En la reunión
first
del
high-level
14 de
witnesses
diciembre
in that meeting of December 14th
en San Vicente,
in St.
de la
Vincent and the
Grenadines,
Grenadines,
Narguil, la población
in Argyle,
donde está el aeropuerto en San Vicente y la
the
Grenadines.
region where the airport in St. Vincent and the Grenadines
Allí
is.
estuvieron 8 primeros ministros,
8 prime ministers were present from the Caribbean.
invitados especiales estuvo el canciller
A special guest
Leiva
was
de Colombia,
the foreign minister of Colombia,
el asesor presidencial
the
del
presidential
presidente de Brasil, Celso Amorim,
counselor of Brazil,
y cara a cara le mostramos a ellos,
and face to face we showed
cara
them,
a cara le mostramos al presidente
we showed to the president of Guyana
los documentos históricos
the
que
historical
avalan
documents
nuestra posición, de cómo el laudo arbitral
that sustain our
de
position,
1899
or how the arbitrary award of the 1899
es nulo, irrito,
is illegal,
anacrónico, y Venezuela, en base al derecho
and Venezuela, on the basis of international law,
no lo reconoce.
does
En
not
base al Acuerdo
recognize
de
it.
Ginebra, no lo reconoce, ni lo
In the framework of the
reconocerá
Geneva Agreement,
jamás,
it does not recognize that arbitrary award and will never do so,
colonial,
because it's part of the colonial right, of the old colonial right,
desfasado, anacrónico.
completely out of date.
Es como que si el reino de España viniera a reclamar
It's
su
like
tierra,
if today the Kingdom of Spain came to reclaim their land.
derecho colonial anacrónico.
That would be an out-of-date colonial right,
Traer los acuerdos.
and they would try to bring back the agreements, the
Doctor
papal
Alonso
agreements,
Rodríguez, y el reparto que hizo el Papa
and the repartition that the Pope did
de nuestra América,
in our continent.
para allá, para Portugal,
From here to there, Portugal, and from here to over there, Spain.
y pretendiera España llevar esos documentos a la Corte Internacional
And,
de
and would
Justicia.
Spain pretend to take those documents to the International Court of Justice to reclaim their old possessions?
En el mismo nivel
It's the same level
está el laudo arbitral de
is the arbitrary
1899.
award of
Forma parte
1899.
de
It's
la
part of that,
diplomacia de las cañoneras,
of the diplomacy of cannons.
y si pudiéramos llamar entre comillas del derecho colonial de despojo,
And
las
if between
potencias
quotes we could call it the colonial
del Reino Unido,
right
y detrás
of dispossession
los
from the United
Estados
Kingdom,
Unidos de
and
Norteamérica.
behind them
Siempre
the
detrás
United
los
States
Estados
of
Unidos
America.
de Norteamérica.
Always the United States of America.
Con su bendita doctrina Monroe
Always there with their blessed
de América
Monroe
para los
Doctrine
americanos,
of America for the Americans,
donde ellos se abrogan el derecho
where they appropriate the right to govern over us and tell us what to
como que
do,
nosotros fuéramos coloniales
like if we were their colonies,
del Río Negro, del Río Bravo,
from Bravo River
hasta la Patagonia.
all the way down to Patagonia.
Allá ellos, allá aquellos apellidos y oligarquías que se han dejado y se dejan gobernar
We warn those far-right elites that allow themselves to be governed and ruled by them. And no, the time of colonial domination and subordination in Venezuela is over, and it's over forever. We can guarantee this with our life for a long time. The electoral campaign convened by the magnificent National Electoral Council, always fulfilling the laws that govern the matter in compliance with the constitutional mandate of the people to receive constitutional legally the referendum on behalf of the National Assembly, voted unanimously as established by the Constitution. The electoral campaign was very important, very teaching, which managed to raise awareness and update on the issue of the rights of Venezuela over Guayana-Esequiba. To update the knowledge, give voice to those that had never had it before on this subject, to renew the feeling of patriotism of our peaceful people that never surrender, that the region was taken away from them. It's a very sensible issue for all Venezuelans that managed to create a political miracle, the union in a sole national sentiment that was everywhere, in schools, on the streets, and it became a song. The Essequibo is ours. A single phrase, one single slogan that managed to unite one single feeling, the historical rights of our country. Today we are here in the presence of our liberators. We are surrounded by them. Here in the center is Bolívar. They gave us this land. They gave us our identity. They gave us our character. They gave us a vision of a great homeland, and they gave us the Guayana in its entirety, because Bolívar left it for us in its totality. Our right over Guayana is a libertarian right in the face of colonial dispossession. We're going to take that away from the Spanish Empire, from the Essequibo River to Parapampoa. And we establish this as a foreign land, as a free land. Is there anyone that could say that Venezuela independence was given for free, that it was given as a gift? What I'm telling you now, I have as witness my wife, Delcy, and all militaries that were with me. I say this face to face to the Guyanese president. You come here to vindicate a colonial dispossession. You come here without documents, without proof. You cannot have them. You are an heir of an empire that stole from a free country. And I come here to reivindicate our right, because that land cost the blood and tears of our liberators, and it belongs to Venezuela, to no one else, Mr. President of Guyana. I can tell you that after being over 6 years and a half as a foreign minister, and now I have 11 as president. First, as president in charge, interim president, in accordance with the Constitution. I was interim president first, but I did what I had to do. I called for elections, and then we won. 11 plus 6, 17 and a half years. To see the things that I've seen, to travel the world. I know more than 100 countries. With Commander Chavez, we made part of this world. We put Venezuela as a part of this world. And I've seen the face to kings, popes, presidents, prime ministers. I had never felt so much satisfaction than to represent Venezuela face to face before the president of Guyana, which simply became the puppet of ExxonMobil and a puppet of the United Kingdom Empire and a puppet of the South Command of the US. I never felt so much pride of representing Venezuela. All this truth collected in this debate, all the truth approved by the people in the referendum. Our right is historical and also based in justice, based in truth. We do not pretend to take anything from no one. On the contrary, we pretend to rescue, to recover what genuinely belongs to Venezuela. President Jorge Rodriguez, deputy from Caracas. Rodriguez was saying that precisely we have here in this protocol room I know it's the elliptic. Well, that's good, because at times you forget the name of something and then you're talking Mr. President from the National Electoral Council and no one says the name, because one can forget a name, right? I appreciate the little blow to the ear in the best sense of the word. This is the elliptic hall, the protocol hall by excellence of the Republic. But it's a machist hall. Where is Josefa Joaquin? Where is Josefa Camejo? Where is Luisa? Where is Juana Ramirez? Where is Urimare? Where are the women? Where are the women that fought for the independence of Venezuela? In this hall. They are in you, women, present here today. They are in you, Beatriz Rodriguez. They are in you, Celita. Sorry for the comment, Mr. President, I apologize, but I know this belongs to the from the time of Crespo and Guzman Blanco. This is a law that contains a group of elements very important. It comes from a referendum. Venezuela has lived this strange dictatorship of attacks from the United States. Every day we receive attacks from within, from a far-right fascist they have never been able to do more damage to us, to this country, and we will never allow this. From abroad, we have the United States Empire. They constantly attack our country. A Venezuela that is living in peace, that is recovering over time, recovering the economy, a country that is exercising its liberties and political sovereignties. With the December 3rd referendum, Dr. Elvis Amoroso, we read 30 elections in 25 years. When the elections that we have called for the July 28th, it will be the election number 31. What a weird dictatorship, what a weird regime, as they say before, because before they say the regime of Chavez, now they say the Maduro regime. And the only regime I have is the important diet that I do, that I follow religiously. From these 30 elections, 7 have been consultative referendum. The first one, April 25th, 1999. To talk with the people about the Constituent Assembly. Never before in the Republican history of Venezuela had this been consulted with the people. The second referendum, December 15, 1999, to consult the people on the Constitution. Never before. Fathers, priests, pastors, present here, leaders from the religious, from the Catholic religion, Muslim leaders. Never before in the Republican history had a whole people we call to go over the Constitution. And that's what it was done on December 15, 1999. The third referendum, December 10th, no, December 3rd of the year 2000. The famous union referendum to promote the transformation in the union. Greetings to all the union leaders here present today. The fourth referendum was made in spite of the irregularities in the infamous signatures that were repeated, and that fourth referendum was the first referendum that was made as an obligatory one for the first time in the history of humanity. An incredible dictatorship, U.S. empire. An incredible dictatorship, oligarchy of the far-right elites. Racist and uninclusive. The fifth referendum, December the 2nd, 2007, to consult on a text, very beautiful text, very ambitious, with great changes for the country and reforms of the constitution of the Republic. Because it's put there that not a single comma can be changed from this book without consulting the people of the country, and that's why it was done this referendum in the year 2007. Sixth referendum, February 25th, 2009. Sorry, February 15th. The sixth referendum.
15 de febrero 2009 para hacer una enmienda
to add an amendment, a constitution amendment,
y establecer
and
la
establish
elección continua y soberana a todos los
the
cargos
continuous
públicos
and
electos
sovereign
por voto popular.
election to all public office by popular vote,
Después de un debate intenso
approved by over 54% of the votes after an intense debate, and the seventh referendum of our history,
el papá de los referéndums.
and I will say the big daddies of all referendums. The referendum of referendums, December 3rd, 2023, wherein the people voted 5 times yes for their historical rights over the Guayana-Esequiba, the Guayana of the Liberators.
Se dan varios hechos inéditos.
We have different unprecedented events. We took for the first time the debate on the Guayana-Esequiba to a referendum, going all the opinions, all the debates. There were some that called to vote yes for 3 questions or for 2, and others that called to vote yes for all 5 questions. There were some that called to not vote. There were also some that called to sabotage the referendum, like ExxonMobil, Guyana, and the far-right elites, fascist elites from within our country. And after all that, a historical decision that we must respect, and it's a mandate, indivisible and united mandate for all Venezuelans of the referendum of December 3rd, the established obligations for the mandate of the people for the recovery of the historical rights over Guayana-Esequiba. An unprecedented event. But from there we go to another one-of-a-kind event in our history. For the first time, I don't know if in the world. We will need to see if this happened also for the first time in the world. The Foreign Minister is here? I could not see you. Mr. Foreign Minister, could it be the first time in the history of the world? I believe. But I'm sure that it is the first time in the history of Venezuela that a consultation of a binding character of a referendum becomes a bill of the Republic to be part of the judicial structure of political movement and institutional movements of a country. And so it was. And today we're receiving a law ratified in its organic character by the Supreme Electoral Tribunal, by Supreme Court of Justice, and I can say with all knowledge with all the authority and power the Constitution that provides me, that the decision of that referendum December 3rd today turned into an organic law of the Constitution of our Republic. It will be fulfilled in full in all sectors of Venezuela, national and internationally. A lawyer would say, if the decision of the referendum was binding, today is also legal. Today is also part of the judicial legal structure of our country for its functioning. Also from the national policies as well as for the international policies, diplomacy, for this government that I preside over and for all the governments that come after, for the future governments in the years and decades to come. The issue of Guayana-Esequiba is a great subject. A lot has been written about this. Lots of opinions have been given. It is an important element. This organic law gathers in a perfect way the 5 questions and the 5 answers that our people gave in that referendum. It has 39 articles, distributed in 6 chapters, it clearly ratifies the illegal character of the arbitrary award of 1899. And with that we implement the first question that the people approve overwhelmingly. It also ratifies, taking into account the decision of referendum, the Geneva Agreement as the only judicial instrument to be able to reach a practical solution that is mutually accepted in relation to with the controversy of the Guayana-Esequiba territory. That's in the article number 5. And with it we implement the question number 2 of the referendum of that December 3rd. We also ratified Deputy Hermano, one of the men that worked the most in this issue. I ask an applause for him. A very long trajectory in judicial matters. A passionate patriot of vital issues of the existence of this republic. Article 6, in Article 6, it is ratified the historical position of Venezuela. The position our country has had since President Isaías, since that great Venezuelan, since President General Marcos Pérez Jiménez, since the presidents of the Fourth Republic, Rómulo Betancourt, Rafael Caldera, Carlos Andrés Pérez, Luis Herrera Campins, Jaime Lucinchi, CAP 2, Rafael Caldera 2, of our beloved commander and President Hugo Chavez, is the position that he has maintained as a head of state to not recognize the International Court of Justice as an instance to solve the controversy of the Guayana-Esequiba. 75 years of a stance, of a solid stance, firm, argumented and sustained, just, balanced and legal in the framework of the international law. It is legal, based in the statute of the International Court of Justice. Venezuela took part with the government of General Isaías in the debates that gave as a result the foundation of the International Court of Justice, and always left there in writing its position. And since that moment to these days, our position is in writing in legal documents, and also verbal way, in different interventions of our heads of states beyond the ideological positions of political positions in 75 years of our Venezuela. Beyond those positions. That's why in Article number 6 we ratify the decision now as an organic level and legal within Venezuela to not recognize the jurisdiction of the International Court of Justice to anything related with the independence and integrity, national integrity of the regime and all these affairs of the Guayana-Esequiba. Being an organic law, binding, and being a law of the Republic, it must be followed by all citizens of our country. Likewise, in chapter 2, established the creation of the state number 24, the state of Guayana-Esequiba, within the political organization, territorial organization of the Republic of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. Its limits established. With this article, number 9, we are implementing in practice, in legal practice of the country, the question number 5 of the referendum of December 3rd. Also in Articles 11, 12, and 13, regulate the functioning of the public offices, regional and local offices in the state, in this new state of Guayana-Esequiba. A wonderful creation of the referendum that our people ratified with his vote. It also grants the people of Guayana-Esequiba a just representation in the next National Assembly to be elected in the year 2025. The people of Guayana-Esequiba will have his or her deputy. It also establishes the creation of a high commission, conceived as a high commission of the state and country for the defense of Guayana-Esequiba in Article 19, bringing together the members of the 3 sectors of the Constitution, an institution that has to be powerful and virtuoso in its best tradition of dialogue and consensus and union in defense of the homeland and what belongs to Venezuela. Also in Article 23, it expressly forbids the publication of the political map of Venezuela without the incorporation of Guayana-Esequiba. In Article 25, Mr. Lawyers, jurors, judges, it forbids expressly to opt to public offices to those people that have adopted or carry out conduct that directly or indirectly favors the position of this position of Guyana, of its government, of transnationals like ExxonMobil. It is a necessary article. Also, it's an important article, the one I'm going to read. Controversial. Because it establishes the clear limits so that people respect Venezuela. Limits for the cowards. Those are cowards, those are brown nosers. No one respects them. Not even when you go out in the street, they will respect you. Even dogs can smell the fear in cowards. No one in this world will ever respect cowards, which is what this article defends bravely. This article defends the interests of Venezuela when it grants the President of the Republic to prevent the signing of agreements of people that collaborate with land operations with Guayana-Esequiba, as well as in the sea that are pending for delimitations. Article 27. Those who understand, understand. Everything legal. Everything in good manners. In dialogue, everything. On the bad side, nothing. On the imperialist right, nothing. Illegally, never come with us for anything. And those that dare to come against Venezuela will pay dearly. We are good people. We like to talk. We don't go against anyone in this world. We are not subverting the land and sea of any country of the world. We are not going against gas and oil and the wealth of anyone. Have you seen Venezuela going somewhere out there, going to a sea without permissions, without being delimited to take out the gas? No. So do we have to accept that they go into a sea that is pending delimitation? Do we have to accept that they go to the sea from this region? Do we have to accept that they decide to take part of that sea and land that belongs to Venezuela? No. You have us all wrong. ExxonMobil and the President of Guyana and the U.S., you are very wrong with Venezuela in your position of colonial and imperialist disposition, in your threatening position. You have it all wrong. It's a wonderful law. That we now must look for it to be spread all over national media and international media. Also in Article 29, we implement the question number 5. That establishes the obligations to design and implement a special plan for the protection and development of the current and future people of the territory of Guayana-Esequiba, as well as the creation of administrative units within the bodies in terms of oil and mineral, with the objective to improve the exploitation of these resources in this region. All special departments on CBG, Guayana-Esequiba, PDVSA, Guayana-Esequiba, and all the productive units that are necessary for subsequent developments in the region. There's a number of elements, important elements, in terms of the transitory regime that in the coming days will be activated and explained. We were precisely talking during the election campaign of different moments in history. Here I have it. My helper from the debate of the electoral campaign, from the lessons that we share, those different meetings we had, the different lessons, maestral presentations we had in different regions with different sectors. 6 historical moments we were talking about. The first one, precisely,
de
1492
to
1840, the creation of the territory and independence. There we have documents and maps that only Venezuela has, no one else has. Can the president of Guyana have a map that tells them that that territory belongs to them, that it was created by them? No. Can he have any public document of international character from the 16th, 17th century? No. The second historical moment, from 1840 to 1899, the time of aggression of the British Empire with the support of the U.S. Empire. We name this time the imperial aggression and dispossession and arbitrary war of 1899. The third historical moment is from 1900s to 1966 as the time of diplomacy, of imperial diplomacy of cannons, of colonial rights. Imposing the, very important during that moment, the awareness of anti-colonialism, which ended with the signature of the Geneva Agreement, where the British authorities would concede the autonomy, that's the way they called independence, of British Guyana, that would now be the Cooperative Republic of Guyana with the signature of the Geneva Agreement. It was clearly established that everything that came before was null. Because if the arbitrary award would be still in effect, the British Empire would not sign the Geneva Agreement, where a new agreement had to be established on this territory. They would never have signed it. They would have never enacted. So the signature of the Geneva Agreement was a turning point in history, where Venezuela expressed clearly that the controversy is alive, that the arbitrary award is null, it's a thing of the past, and everything begins as of the signature of the Geneva Agreement as the only instrument of negotiation, agreement, and resolution of this controversy. The fourth period is from 1966 to 2015. You know this period. The commissions that were established. The presence of mediators that were named. The Puerto España Protocol that was signed by Dr. Caldera and then carried on in 1982, where the Geneva Agreement governed in a unique manner the relations to resolve the controversy between Guyana and Venezuela. And then what we call the fifth period, the time of imperialist conspiration, the conspiracy of the right wing, of the far-right elites against Venezuela, which is the time where ExxonMobil comes in. After confirming the vast reservations of gas and oil, ExxonMobil takes control of political and military life of Guyana, and take also control of international policies of Guyana. It disavows the Geneva Agreement, kicks it out, and takes over this area, and illegally goes to the International Court of Justice in a lobby maneuver, very suspicious. In an organization as the International Court of Justice, that is ever more under suspicion. We cannot cover the truth.
sobre esos organismos internacionales.
On these international bodies.
En ese periodo 2015-2023,
in that period, 2015-2023, they tried to take Venezuela to a civil war. They tried several coups d'etats. They tried to kill me in different opportunities. Everything was tried to take over the political power. And who was behind every conspiracy? Always the power of the United States Empire. And gave the support and financing. Regretfully, the far-right elite of the European Union. Guayana 2017, or have we forgotten about this? The interim government that tried to impose a civil war, to impose in a failed manner in Venezuela in 2019-2023, or have we forgotten? The conspiracy of today that we have managed to contain, dismantle and defeat. And it has only one objective. They all have one single objective, to put their claws over a country that has two powers. An economic power of the greatest oil reserves in the world, of the greatest reserves of gas in the world, of the greatest iron reserve, aluminium reserve, gold reserves. It's a power, if an economic power of one of the greatest reserves of biodiversity and drinking water. They want to put their claws on a key country of the North of South America. And another great reason is to put their claws to bring back the monarchy, because here is where liberators of America were born. They want to destroy this. They want to destroy the spirit of liberation of the region, of the light that nourishes. They want to put their claws on our beloved Venezuela. About the court, there's a lot to say. Only Father Molina, you, as a priest of the people of the neighborhoods, Jesuit, born in south of Merida, and is always next to the people. You know this well. You all know this well. Muslim leaders, Christian leaders, Catholic leaders. You know this well. You bring the word of our God to the people. How much pain there is for Palestine. Or is it that it does not affect you, all the hundreds of children and women that are being killed in Palestine daily? Does no one see this? Does no one see how they assassinated 7 humanitarian workers from Western nations? And Netanyahu says, since from Tel Aviv, Netanyahu says that they killed him. They killed them, but it was not intentional. But he said outright that they killed them, even if it wasn't intentional. So then the other ones, they are intentional. The Palestinian people have not seen how they destroyed the main hospital, the largest hospital that took decades to build in Gaza. They left it completely unfunctional. They destroyed everything, and hundreds of bodies came in every floor of people killed, assassinated by coup d'etat shots. Does no one see this? Does no one feel sorry for this? Or is it that it's allowed that Zionism and the elites can assassinate, that the government of Israel can kill with blood and fire? Is this allowed, that they violate international humanitarian right? Does no one see women with their humble sons looking for food in the south of Gaza, in Rafah, and are killed with missiles, with high precision missiles? Does no one see this? No one sees it. It looks like the International Court of Justice, Mr. Vice President, does not see this. And if one day those organizations have been left bare, that are in the service of imperial powers, is right now in this historical moment in which the International Court of Justice has done nothing to protect the right of life of the Palestinian people. And that's how we said it from Venezuela. It is highly questioned the morality of that International Court of Justice, that looks to the side, that turns a blind eye before the greatest genocide. And what is humanity going to do before that massacre? It's a subject to reflect, compatriots. It's a subject that Venezuela puts on the table to be debated on the world stage, demanding an immediate end to the genocide of Israel against the people of Palestine, and that the International Court of Justice comes out and condemns the genocide. It's not an issue of the Jews, because in my blood I have Jewish blood, both Maduros and Moros. I also have native blood and African blood. I have 14% of genes from Nigeria, and I'm proud of it. Proud of being that part of Africa. 34% of indigenous genes, and proud of it as well. But I also have a high percentage of Europeans, of Maduros, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, my great-great-grandfather, and from Moros as well. Expelled from Spain in 1492. I saw a survey in those days that was made at a world level, published in the United States. No one did this here. No one published it here. A survey made in Israel and the world to the Jewish people. And I was surprised by the number and said, that's how it had to be. Because the survey says that 76% of the Jewish people of Israel and the world is against of what is being done against the people of Palestine and want the war to end. That's why our message is also to the people of Israel, to the Jewish people of the world, to the Muslim people of the world, to the Catholic and Christian people of the world, to unite all in one single word of peace, of voice of peace for life and coexistence.
Valga el comentario, ineludible.
Important this comment, the fifth moment of the conspiracy against Venezuela, which is the moment of their offensive of ExxonMobil, the South Command, because President Irfan does not rule Guyana. Guyana is ruled by the South Command, the CIA, and the ExxonMobil. I am not overreacting this. They control Congress, they control the parties, both the ruling parties and the opposition. They control the government as a whole. They completely control the defense forces of Guyana, the police. And we have proof information, constructed information in the territory of Guayana-Esequiba, on the temporary administration of Guyana. They have created secret military bases of the South Command, military bases of the U.S. South Command, bases of the CIA, to prepare aggressions against the people of the region, to prepare aggressions against the people of the south and east of Venezuela, and to prepare or escalated tensions
Por eso
against
siempre hay que
Venezuela.
estar preparado,
That's why we
con
must
la
always
guardia
be ready, with our guards up,
para
with our
defender el
morale
derecho a la paz
up
de
high,
Venezuela
to defend the right
y a
of the
su
homeland
integridad
of Venezuela and its national territory.
Y el sexto momento del
And
que
the sixth
hablábamos
moment of what we were speaking
es este que estamos viviendo. Dijimos,
is this one that we're living
vamos a
right
un
now.
sexto momento.
We're going to go to a sixth moment.
De aquí en adelante,
From here on,
vamos a una nueva etapa.
we're going to a new stage.
Convocamos a referéndum.
We convene a
Con el
referendum,
poder del referéndum
and with the power of referendum,
y ahora el poder de la ley
and now the
orgánica
power of the organic
en
law,
defensa de la
in
Guayana-Esequiba,
defense of Guayana-Esequiba,
tenemos los instrumentos
we have the
necesarios
necessary instruments
para que en unión nacional,
so that
con el
united,
mayor fervor nacionalista
the greatest
patriótico,
feeling
los venezolanos
of patriotism,
y las venezolanas
Venezuelans
avancemos
can move
en la
forward
recuperación
in the recovery
integral de los derechos históricos
of our historical
sobre
rights
la
over
Guayana-Esequiba.
Guayana-Esequiba.
Por eso voy a proceder
That's why now,
con mucho orgullo,
with a lot of
con mucho
pride
amor,
and with a
con
lot of
mucha-
love,
con mucho compromiso,
with a great commitment to sign
de inmediato
right now
y a promulgar
and to enact
esta ley
this law,
vinculante y
this
obligante
binding law
que de carácter orgánica ha aprobado la
that has
Asamblea
been approved
Nacional.
by the National
Ha
Assembly
valido la pena
of Venezuela.
rescatar el sueño
It
del
has all been
libertador,
worth it to
vale la
recover
pena
the dream of Bolivar.
luchar por
It is
nuestra
worth
tierra,
to fight for
por
our
nuestros
land,
derechos.
to fight for our
Y
rights.
nosotros,
And we,
así lo digo,
so I say it,
con inteligencia,
with intelligence,
con estrategia,
with strategy,
con audacia,
with
pero
audacity,
con mucho fervor patriótico.
but also with a great patriotic feeling.
Más temprano que tarde,
And sooner than later,
los derechos
we're
de
going to
Venezuela
recover the
sobre la
rights of Venezuela
Guayana-Esequiba.
over the
Así lo juro
Guayana-Esequiba.
frente a ustedes,
So I swear before all of
y
you,
así será.
and so it will be.
Que Dios bendiga a
God
nuestra
bless
patria y la mantenga en paz. Muchas gracias.
our homeland and
Felicitaciones.
keep it in peace.
Asamblea
Thank you very
Nacional.
much.
Procedo a
Congratulations,
la firma y a la
National
promulgación.
Assembly. I
Muchas
will
gracias.
now sign and enact the law. Thank you very much.
De la promulgación de la ley orgánica para la defensa de la Guayana-Esequiba, de conformidad con lo